Hello, how are you? I am James Taylor, and I wanted to share my story, or at least some of the things I've gone through from my childhood, growing up into my adulthood. And I'll probably do different videos after this. So if you guys could please like, share, and comment, because you don't know who may need to hear this video. You don't know who this video may encourage. As a child, I grew up state of Indiana. I didn't always have the best childhood. I had good moments. I had bad moments, as a child. As a child, I was molested and raped by two different males. One of the males was my mother's boyfriend that raped and molested me. The other male was my own cousin that raped and molested me as well. And that caused a lot of fear, doubt, trauma, heartache, and pain. Because as a child, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what to do in those moments. You don't know who you can trust. You don't know who you can turn to. And even at times, you don't even know what to say or even how to feel. And that's, the things that I experienced when I was going through those times at different moments. For me, my mother's boyfriend groomed me. Anybody that knew me as a child knew I loved wrestling. I had wrestling action figures. I had wrestling games. I loved wrestling. I remember Monday Night Raw and watching, all of that stuff. And it was always fun. That was something I always looked forward to doing. Was watching wrestling and stuff like that. And so I remember he would buy me games and buy me game systems and stuff like that to be able to play. But as a child, not understanding and realize that it was a grooming process. And I feel like that when you have gone through trauma like that, you don't have people around you depending on your background and where you come from and who's your support system or group or what have you. That, I didn't have people tell me, hey, if you're being touched inappropriately, you can trust us, you can tell us what was done or what was said. I didn't have that. I grew up in the era where people would say, what happens in his house stays in his house. Whatever is said in his house stays in his house. And because of that was instilled in me, I was afraid to speak up and to speak out of the things that was happening. And I think one of the main things why I was so scared is because oftentimes when you watch movies when a child or children has been sexually assaulted, you see that CPS comes in and takes the child away from the family and stuff like that. And that's something I didn't want to happen to me. I would have been very devastated, even though I was devastated of the two incidents that happened to me. I was numb. I didn't know who I could trust again. I didn't know who I could trust, who I can talk to. I remember it just like it was yesterday. I remember where I was. I remember what happened. I remember what was on the TV. I remember it happened, downstairs in the living room on the couch. I remember back in the day, Snoop Dogg used to have commercials out, and he was like the pimp. And he would have his female friends that was in the video They would have like chains on their necks and stuff like that. So basically, he was there. They pimp as in the commercials, if you will. I remember, all of that. I remember going to this center. It was like a Y, but it wasn't. It was a little different. I remember getting up the next morning and going there and staying there all day, feeling so cold and numb, not understanding what happened, even though I knew what was done to me was bad. But as a child, I couldn't comprehend the level of how bad it was. And trauma started creeping in and affected me later on down the line as I got older. And that's something I should have got counseling and therapy, for. Because as a child, that's something that you can't even wrap your mind around or even comprehend, of going, through something like that. And, it is so heartbreaking as a child, as an individual that, has been, raped and molested and stuff like that, and not even having an outlet to speak on or to speak out to when dealing with that. So, for years I dealt with trauma. I dealt with anger, dealt with depression. Didn't even know I was dealing with depression until I got older. I believe if I got the right counseling and the right therapy, I definitely would have healed, I believe, faster than what I did. I didn't start healing until I got into my adult years. I was so mad and angry with this guy that I even wanted to unalive him, because I was just so hurt, so bitter, so angry, because as a child growing up into an adult, it's like, how could you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you want to do that? And that's so gut-wrenching and heartbreaking to have to experience being violated and touched when you don't want to. And those are memories that I will always have for the rest of my life. To the day I die, to the last moment I take my breath, those will always be memories in the back of my mind. Like, I can't believe I was raped. I can't believe I was molested. I can't believe I was groomed leading up to the molestation and the rape. And I believe, sometimes in homes today that's not always talked about. It's not always the main topic. And unfortunately, that's sad. There's some other things I'm going to be sharing, because it's a process, because it's just more to the story leading up to the molestation and the rape and stuff like that. So yeah, it's more to the story, and I'm so glad that I'm free and able to share my testimony and my story, with others. I just want to help others to open up and to speak out. It's not about me. And I say this, when you go through something traumatic like that, it is about you, but then again, it's about somebody else. It's about how you can help somebody else out that is going through the exact same things that you have gone through or that you're going through. You will be amazed on how many people, young men, young girls, men and women, that has been raped and molested and has not spoken out. I believe that when you see a lot of children go through behavior issues, I think it's because of the lack of parenting, either because they were molested, or because they was raped, or because the lack of the mother being in the home, the lack of the father being in the home. But 9 times out of 10, when the child or children are speaking out or acting out, is because of the lack of parenting. because of the father not being in the home or the mother not being in the home, or simply because they have been violated sexually. Rather, it's molestation or rape. And that's something that needs to be spoken on, and we need to speak up. So I encourage you, if you have been, raped or molested or taken advantage of, get you some counseling, get you some help, get you some therapy. Find somebody that you can trust, that you can love, and that loves you back, and just speak on it. You don't have to tell, the whole story, in the whole session, in that one session. Sometimes it takes people a while. Sometimes it takes people years to build up that confidence, that boost of confidence to even speak up and to speak on about it. And I'm so glad now that I'm able to speak about it on social media. I've spoke about it in church and stuff like that, but it's different when it hits social media because you have people watching you and stuff like that. So I encourage anybody that has been violated sexually, speaking up, tell your truth, tell your story. And I'll say this, don't let anyone else write your story, especially if they have not been in your shoes, especially if they have not experienced the things that you have gone through. Any person that has been violated sexually may have gone through similar things, but not have gone through the exact same thing. Every experience, every sexual encounter, when you have been violated, is totally different. So, I encourage you to speak up and to speak out. Unfortunately, it was someone close to me, two people that was close to me that, was supposed to love me. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And I just pray that this video blesses somebody, that it reach who it needs to reach. And I'm always here. I'm on social media. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. You can always reach out to me. It's like James So Blessed Taylor on TikTok, on Facebook. I'm James Taylor. Of course, my picture's going to be on there. But anyways, you reach out, comment, like, and share, because you don't know who needs to see this video or see my videos that's going to be coming up in the future. I just hope that we can come together as a society and strengthen one another in numbers and love one another. And then also I want to talk about later on, down the line, how do you handle the aftermath of being sexually violated. And I'm going to share my journey and talk about some of those things that I have faced and some of the battles I faced after the molestation, after the rape, because it's a process. It's a working process. It's a grieving process, and most definitely it is. When you have been sexually violated, you're grieving because my innocence was taken away from me. I didn't give it. It was taken away from me from two different males, unfortunately, But yeah, I just pray that this video reaches whoever it needs to reach, whoever it needs to inspire. Like I said before, if you need to message me, you can do so. My email is James So Blessed Taylor Ministries @gmail.com. So, if you want to message me, email me, you can do that. Like I said, I'm on Facebook. My name is James Taylor. Of course, my picture's on there. You can inbox me on Messenger if you all have any questions of how, I overcame the things I overcame. What did I do? Or what was my expectations of, what should happen to, the people that, had violated me. I'm just here, and I'm just on a journey of healing and going where God needs me to go and doing what God has called me to do. One of my biggest passions, or I have a heart for, it's children and people that has been violated sexually, because that takes, I think, a different type of love to love on somebody that has been broken in that way, so far as being broken sexually by other people, or predators, I should say. It takes a special heart for someone to want to work with individuals and children and adults like that. So I am an open book of the things I've gone through, because my testimony is not just for me, it's for somebody else. For somebody else to see that, hey, he has gone through that. He's made it over those hurdles. He's made it through, those trials and tribulations. If he can make it, I can make it. I have a beautiful family. I have 5 children. I have overcame a lot to get where I am now. And I thank God for it. It was only by his grace and his mercy that kept me in my right mind when I felt like I was losing my mind. It was only him, and I thank God for it, because so many people that could have been in my shoes may not have survived the things I survived. And I say this, I survived so that I can be a living testimony to somebody else, to you, to whoever comes across this video, to whoever needs to reach out and contact me. I'm here. I'm always available. I just want to be a willing vessel, to those that have, have questions, that have gone through the same things that I've gone through, or that are going through the things I have dealt with. And it's not easy. It's a journey. It's going to be a journey until the day you pass away. There's something that's going to always be in the back of your mind. I've been molested, or I have been raped. Did I make the right decisions? Was I dressed in a certain way? Was my conversation inappropriate? Those are the things that, you tend to think about, and that's just self-blame. And I've dealt with that too, self-blame, because when you go through, that type of trauma, you instantly start self-blaming yourself, thinking that it's your fault for what somebody else's actions was, towards you or about you, and it's not your fault. So I just want to encourage you, and to say that, hey, it's not your fault. Even if you said no, if you didn't say no, it's not your fault. We're going to get through this. And as long as I'm able and have breath in my body and in my right mind, I'm going to help whoever I can, when I can, and how I can. So I just pray that this video blesses you all, and pray that you have a marvelous day, a marvelous weekend, and to continue to speak life. Speak life over yourself. Speak life over your circumstances. No matter what the situation is, no matter what the situation was, just speak life. Because there's power and life in your tongue. Be careful what you say and how you say things. You speak as those things that you think. And I just encourage you all, to keep going, not to give up. Keep fighting to the end and see what the Lord has for you. You don't know what he has for you until you continue to push. Remember to press your way through. Press your way through, no matter how hard the road may get. No matter how the valley may get low or dark. You always have somebody in there, in the midst with you. Just keep going. Don't give up. Keep pushing. I'm a living witness. I'm a living testimony how God can bring you out. How I made it out. When you look at me, look at me as a survivor. I've made it to where I am now in life. And that's only by the grace of God that kept me, because I wanted to be kept. There were times that I didn't want to live. I wanted to unalive myself. But thank God I didn't. Thank God that I was in his covenant care and he kept me. It's going to be okay. You're going to have your moments. You're going to have your seasons when you want to give up, when you want to throw in a towel. When the weight gets heavy, it's not the time to give up. It's time to put your trust and your faith in God and let him work it out. I had a pastor that will always say that it's not your business how God is going to do it. It's only your business to know and to believe that he's going to do it. And it's never going to be on your time. It's always going to be on his time, because our time is not his time. Our time is not his time. Will never be his time. And another thing that, I think about when I said that is that it's a journey, a long processing journey of learning how to maneuver in life, dealing with those thoughts, dealing with those heartaches and pain of the molestation and the rape and stuff like that. It's a journey. Every day is a journey. Every day you have to make up in your mind that you're going to fight, that you're not going to give up. Every day, you have to have that mindset that I'm going to live and not die. I shall live and not die. Because one thing that I understand now that I didn't understand as a child is that I didn't want to live anymore. Not only because of that, but other circumstances as well. But you have to understand, when you want to live, there's more in life that God wants and trying to bless you with. You have to have a mindset of I want to live, and not a mindset of I want to die. I said, because when you have a mindset of wanting to die, you're limiting the things of God for your life. Let me say it again. When you have the mindset of you want to die, you are limiting the things that God has or is wanting for your life. Because when you have the mindset, I want to die, you can't get all what God has for you when you're thinking negatively about wanting to die and not to live. See, when you want to live, you're expecting more and you are requiring more from God. So I choose to live every day. I choose not to live in my past. I choose not to live in, oh, it's me. Oh, I was raped. Oh, I was molested. Poor me. And I've had those seasons and moments because I was trying to get an understanding as to why it was me. Why did it happen to me? What did I do so bad or so horrific for that to happen to me? And I did absolutely nothing. And it even got to the point where when I was younger, I would blame God because I felt like, you're God and you're all-knowing God. Why would you allow that to happen? Why would you allow that to happen? The rapes and the molestations twice from two different guys. And as I got older and wiser, I started understanding that no, God did not design for that to happen. No, God did not put that in order or in place for that to happen. God was he was there with me the whole time. Like, no, don't do that. But in that process, in that moment, I could have lost my life. Anything could have happened, But thank God for his grace and his mercy that covered me. But, he was there the whole time. He witnessed the whole thing. Even the Bible talks about touch not my children and do them no harm. God don't play about his children. He's very serious about his children. And, I'm going to talk about later on in different videos about, the man that, molested and raped me, about what happened to him and how he suffered at the end due to, the things that, he did to me, but it all is well because I'm still here, alive and thriving and moving forward. Life is what you make it. You can make life difficult or you can make life beautiful. You got to have the mindset of every day, I'm going to be positive. I'm going to do what I need to do to push, you know. And that's how, I live my life. I can't live my life in the past of in the turmoil of, the things I've gone through so far as, the rape and molestation and so much more than that. I literally have gone through things and seen things as a child that no child should have ever had to go through, witness, or even see. Nobody can ever walk a mile in your shoes because everybody's journey is different. Some people may have gone through similar things, but not have gone through the exact same things. I said that earlier in the video. Nobody can never walk a mile in your shoes because somebody would have lost their mind a long time ago. Somebody would have unalived themselves a long time ago if they had to fight the battles that you fought and have the scars that you have. My God. I have so many scars that if God revealed my scars, I would be too ugly to look at. You wouldn't even want to look at me. You wouldn't even want to be around me. You wouldn't even want to be in my presence. That's how many scars I have. And not only just from the rapes and the molestations. And that's facts. But we're going to get into that eventually. More things that I've gone through. The good and the bad. I believe sometimes people need to see or hear or be a witness of the things that you have gone through. Because my life is a testimony to somebody else's. My life is not my own. My life is not my own. I'm here to live out a life that God has called me to be and to do. And not only that, but to bless others, to be an encouragement to others, to, uplift others that have gone through the same things I'm going through. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to encourage others. I'm here to bless others. I'm here to pour into others. You got to pour into others. You can't be stuck in the same mindset of little old me. I've gone through this and I've gone through that. Yes, you're going to have your seasons. You're going to have your moments. You're going to have your moments when you want to cry, when you might want to cuss people out. You might want to, hurt somebody. You might want to, do what you feel is best. But there comes a point in time in your life, what? I got to get up from here. I got to get up from this pit. I can't stay here too long. I can't stay down too long. I got places to be. I have people to reach and to minister and to pour into. You got to have that mindset. You got to have the mindset. And the more you do for Christ, the more Christ will do for you. And then Christ knows your heart. He knows your intentions. He knows it before you think about it. He knows it before you even do it. And that's the level I had to learn to get on. That my life is not my own. It's not about me. Sure, it's about me, but it's about serving others. It's about doing what God has instilled in me to do. If you want to see the blessings of God, keep His commandments. Do His will to your best of your knowledge. To the best of your knowledge. Let me say it again, to the best of your knowledge. And if you don't know how to do what God is equipping you to do or getting you to do, pray. Read His Word. Meditate on His Word. He'll give you answers. He'll give you directions on what you should do. Even when it comes to forgiveness. Let me say it again, even when it comes to forgiveness. For years, I had unforgiveness in my heart towards many people because they had done me wrong. Especially if I didn't do anything, especially when I didn't do anything to them to be done wrong in the manners or the manner that I was done wrong in. My heart was heavy, and I had to let it go. I had to let it go. I couldn't stay in that place. I couldn't stay in that mind frame. I couldn't stay in that place of bondage. Don't you know that when you don't forgive your brothers and sisters for the offenses they've made among you, you're stuck in bondage. You're stuck in chains. So you got to break up out that bondage. You got to break the chains. You got to forgive. If you don't know what forgiveness looks like, if you don't know what forgiveness is, ask God to give you the direction that you need so that you can be able to forgive. Forgiving people is a process. It's a journey. You know. But if you really want to forgive, He'll give you the direction that you need to do so. Just pray that this video will bless you and encourage you again, and that you have a good day, good weekend. I will post another video or upload another video soon because I got more to say. I got more to say, and not only about the rape and molestation, but about being hurt in general. Even about church hurt. Even about being hurt in life. Yeah. I'm excited about the journey and the season God has me on. And not only him, not only for me, but my wife as well. She's on the journey as well. And she's on the move as well. And thank God for that. I just pray that you'll be blessed. And please do me a favor. It don't cost you nothing. Please comment, like, and share this video, because you don't know who needs to hear this. Somebody out there in this world may be going through something. Then all they need is a word of encouragement. A little boy, a little girl, a man or a woman may just need a word of encouragement. Just speak up. Just speak out. Thank you.